Hello and welcome back. It's been a long summer, so I haven't done anything to the Rover, but winter's starting to come around here in Pittsburgh. So I started putting things back together on the firewall. So I put the fuel filters on, both the pedals, all painted up and cleaned. I put some new gaskets underneath here and here. And what I did is I bought a 1/16 thick rubber. And I just traced it and cut it out and put it underneath there in gaskets. It was a lot cheaper than actually buying them. Did it on both sides. Got the steering box in. Bolted these all up here. This was a bit of a pain in the butt trying to get these spacers back in, but there's spacers back behind here. Got those in. All bolted up. Bottoms are tightened down along with both sides. I'll also put the voltage regulator on, so that's on. And a few other things. We'll go over to the other side here. Okay, like I said, voltage regulator's on. And the clutch bracket right here. Let me see, get a better shot down there. This bracket here that holds the clutch hose that goes down around over to the clutch slave cylinder over there. This bracket was actually falling off, so what I did is I just bolted it to the footwell. I made a new clutch line going over. This is the brake line, and I have them go across the engine compartment and over to the other side. So I put a bolts in here. That's all bolted down and everything. So, and also I hung the doors. So here's the part that was completely missing from the bulkhead. So now I test fit the doors. Now I'll go over to the other side, but this side was the worst side that I fixed. But the gaps are just about equal on both sides. And that's the exciting part right there. See, the door opens and it doesn't fall off. So down here, here's the inside, all painted. Got the door catch on there, everything. And they close up. But they still need adjusted. It's not the final fitting, but they line up pretty close. Go to the other side. You can get a better shot of this door. You can see there it is hanging. I still got to put the windshield on, but the door gaps, they're all over the place. This is kind of tighter down here and looser up here, but it's equal the whole way down here. So I just test fit both the doors because I wanted to see if they would line up and see how bad my alignment was, but it's on there. So there you go. Doors are on. Put the pedals in. Got the gas pedal working. Throttle here. And the springs, the retainer springs, are now hung. So the pedals are in. Door check, got the steering on this end done, bolted it all up, so that's all nice and solid. The bulkhead is basically what all I've been doing lately, is getting it set back up again with all the pieces and parts. So the next thing is I have to do is run a feed line from the brake reservoir over to the master cylinder, right here to here, and then down here is the clutch master cylinder feed line. So I gotta make a line go from there, come over to here to this fitting. So what I'm doing is I replaced all the lines, the steel lines, with nickel copper brake lines, and all the hydraulic lines are basically going to be that. So I'm going to show you how to make a great tool that I bought that works perfect for all these things, to make all your different type of what would that be, the end of the fitting or whatever. So also another thing is these aren't anything, these ones are special. The ones, the feed lines, they're 1/4 inch feed, but they're 7/16 by 20 threads. They're not Whitworth, they're not anything else. You take one out, I'll show you. But the only thing is they're a fine thread, and that's the difficulty. So I found it on Federal Hill clutch, not clutch, but brake fittings. I found these. So they're 1/4 inch by 7/16 by 20 thread. So 1/4 inch hose. So it's nothing really special. They're like, you're not going to find this at your local store. And these ones you probably won't be able to find either. I think they're for a 3/16 line, and I'm not quite sure of the thread, but let me look into that. So I'm going to show you how to make a brake line and the great tool to use. All right. So the first thing I do to make brake lines is I buy some wire. You might have some like just regular wire, something that's flexible and it'll keep its shape. So what I do is I'll come down, and this will be the beginning part of the brake line. So I put it towards the fitting where I'm going here, and I'll stick it up into the fitting so I can kind of get my distance and space, and then I'll kind of wrap it around the way I want it to be, or I plan on routing it. Then I bring it over to here to where the fitting is. You can kind of see it, I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of a path that goes over. So then I get to where I think the path or the piece I would like to be. And then what I do is then I'll hold my finger on the end of it and I'll put a bend in it. I'll just go boop. So then that there is the length of brake line that I need. So then I go over to my tube, my length of tube, and I'll show you. Okay, so this is the nickel copper brake line. It's a 1/4 inch diameter, and you can usually buy, I found the best prices are on eBay, and the one company is called Inline Tubing, and they do not sponsor this video at all. But Inline Tubing, you can buy it. I think this is a 10-foot piece of it, and it cost me roughly probably 20 bucks for 10 foot, but it's also a 1/4 inch. So it's bigger than your normal 3/16. So what I do is, now we got a length of it. We know we need it. So all you do is straighten it out. You can see how easy, this is the best part of the nickel copper, is that it's very, very easy to bend. You can just straighten out a piece. So then you take your wire that you just bent, or you used it to get your piece that you need. So then you take this, you hold there at the end, and you kind of just hold it along to get your size that you need. And you take it along until you get to where your bend is that you made whenever you measured it over at the car. And then just take a pencil or a Sharpie or whatever and mark where it is. Then you take just take a piece, take one of these tools, or just a plumber's. You can get bigger ones or smaller ones, but it's just a plumbing pipe cutter. You could buy it at Home Depot, Lowe's, any store or whatever. So then you go to your spot that you made, because you know that's the length that you need. Tighten it down. Spin it. And tighten up a little bit and spin it. And there you go. Take that little rubber cap off. I'll reuse that and I'll put that back on the end. But there's a piece of brake line, exact size that you need because you used your piece of wire. What I do is I'll clean up, this little thing has a little thing that pops out that cleans up the end. So I'll clean this up, stick it in there, because whenever you compress it down with the cutter, it'll push down onto the inside there. Check the other side. Yeah, this is the side that was already cut by the people I bought it off of. But there's your hose. And now you know the length is right and everything what you need. So now I'll show you how to get the crimp on the end. Okay, so this is the tool right here. It makes it so much easier to flare brake lines. And it actually mounts inside your vise. It's very sturdy and it doesn't move anywhere. So what it is, I'll show you here. It's just a brake piping flaring tool, and these are all, it'll do your bubble flare, it'll be your bubble European one, or your double inverted 45 and all that. It does quite a bit of them, and the brand is K Tools, and you can find them on eBay for pretty cheap. I don't know, I paid $130 for this. The price probably went up by now, but there's the part number there, KTI 70081, and they did not sponsor this video. It's just, this is just such a great tool. I'll show you. Okay, so here's our fittings. Two fittings. This one goes onto the master. No, it goes onto the brake reservoir, and this goes into the clutch. So you got your, make sure you put your fitting on, so you don't forget to do that. And then these are the dies that hold the brake in there. So you just lay it inside there. And this is the other end of it. You can see it'll do the 45-degree inverted or the bubble on that side. You can see more of that in instructions if you buy it. But you just take this, flip this handle up over, put your die down in there, hold this over, and it holds that lock in. Let me see if you can even see that. Yeah, so it holds them in there. And you kind of get it tight in there, and you kind of snug it up just a little bit first. So the first thing you do is there's there's a flat part. That'll kind of align it up. Then you tighten it down. And it has step 1 for a 1/4-inch line. Actually says it up on top. You press it. That's 1, it flared it out. And then you do option number 2 for a 1/4-inch. And there it is, it's done. Pull it out, pop it out. Look at that. Perfect inverted flare on that. It's all ready to be installed, everything. And then I just realized I put my fitting on upside down, but it's the one side. So I can take it, flip it for now. There you go. See, it's all ready to be installed and everything. So again, you know, you already have your length. Put this on, I'll show you again. That's how easy it is. It's the best tool in the world that'll save you tons of money. Take it, put it in there. Flip this to position 0. Make sure you put your dies on the right way. Snug it down. Oops, slide some out. Zero, it puts it in position. Tighten it down. Go to number 1 for a 1/4-inch. And go to number 2. There it is. Another one. Perfect flare on the end of it. So now I just made myself a brake line from there to there. It didn't cost me much at all, and it was very easy to do. So now I'll go install it into the Land Rover. Okay, so here's the brake line that we just made. Comes up over, bend it down, and around and up and under like that. And while I was at it, I made the other one as well. Goes around, goes over to there. This one feeds the brake master, which is right here. Then this side, this bottom one feeds the clutch. And if you look down in here, if you could see, it's actually double walled. There's like the tube in the middle is for the clutch, and then the outside is for the brake. So it's actually dual reservoir inside of what looks like a tin can. So it's I would, for the cost of the tool and then buying the brake lines, and you can fix anything on any car with this brake line and that tool, so it's worth the investment. I felt like to just make them all myself, and I actually did all the brakes. I did the whole brakes of the whole Land Rover already in nickel copper, all with that tool, and just by ordering fittings and piping. So if you look at some of the kits that you can buy for Land Rovers, I think it's Auto Mart or Automac or something like that, some type of brand or whatever, that they make a full kit, and this was still all cheaper. Even with all these lines and the fittings, it was still cheaper than buying that whole kit. And plus, if something breaks or if I need to fix something on my other old cars that I have, I can make a new brake line for that and use the same nickel copper on that. So it's an investment that you can use for a lot of things, for all your old cars. So that's where I'm going to stop for the day. So the bulkhead's slowly coming together, and well, it's pretty much together once I got these brake lines on. And I got to put gear oil in, lube, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, so the next part is I'm going to be taking the doors back off and finishing up whatever left. I don't have much left to do on here on the bulkhead itself. So I'm going to move over to the B pillar because that's what I need to weld in next, and also the clean up the frame and everything. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and see you on the next one. Thank you.